here's my question for you. First of all, if you're in business, you can't manage something if you don't measure it. Does that make sense? And by the way, when most of us get overweight, it's because we don't measure very often. All of a sudden you wake up and go, oh my God, I'm 10 pounds overweight, 15 pounds overweight. But if you measured each day and paid attention, you could fix it before it got out of control. Same thing's true with everything, but your energy is the most important one. So here's my question. If the average is 5, and I'm seeing all these numbers, some are 3s and 2s, let's give it a 5. Here's my question. Would you ever really want to date a 5? Do you want to do business with a 5? Would you want to be a 5 parent on a 0 to 10 scale? No, so we need to shift it. So how do you shift it? Well, here's what's ironic, and you'll understand why we're doing some of this movement. Emotion is created by motion. Energy is emotion. It's energy in motion. The way we move, the way we breathe, the way we use our voice totally changes our energy in a second. If I came out this morning and said, good morning, thank you for joining me. I'm Tony Robbins and you're not. And over the next 17,000 hours of this seminar, right? So sometimes I'm going to ask you to make a sound. In fact, right now, no matter where you are, just try something. Make a sound of total excitement out loud. Go for as loud as you can. Make it sound of excitement. Do it again and really enjoy it. Total excitement, energy. Come on, go for it. All right. Did your energy go up or down? Which one? Of course it went up, right? Now, it's a habit, so you got to start measuring yourself, and then you got to just do some things. So one thing you can do, let's try something real fast. Stand back up just for a minute, just for a moment, if you would. Please stand back up. Wherever you are in the world, if I can't see you, please stand up so you get the benefit of this, because if you don't physically activate your body, you won't feel the same result. You'll get some interesting information, but it won't stay with you. So what I want you to do is really simple. I want you to, if there's someone in the room with you, you can point at them, but most of you I can see are alone, and I want you to point at somebody on the screen, whether they see you or not. And if you're at home, just you can point at somebody or nearby, and what you're going to say is, I own you. Go for it. Try and say it. Do it a little louder. Go, I own you. Oh, do it with intensity. I own you. No, I own you. Now, let me tell you what we're doing here. Are there any competitive people in the world out there? Any of you competitive people? Okay, good. The word competition in Latin means to conspire together. So we compete to conspire to make each other better. If I push you hard in basketball, you got to get better. I want you to push me hard so I get better. So one way we'll do this a couple of times over the weeks is just real fast. It'll take us like 10 seconds. It'll just be creating a new habit. We'll stand up, we'll go, I own you. Now, if you don't have anybody around you, just point at the screen and imagine somebody there, or you can say it to me, I own you, Tony, right? I own you. And then that means I'm challenging you, you low energy person, right? And then all we're going to do is for 15 to 20 seconds, you're going to jump, leap, and celebrate and use your voice like a little kid celebrating, like your sports team just won a national championship, like you just achieved your greatest goal, like you had the greatest orgasm of your life, whatever would have floated your boat. But I want you to really go for it like a little kid, not like a boring adult that goes, yeah, that was great, right? Who's willing to go for it for like 20 seconds here? Who's willing to make it happen? Stand up, wherever you are in the world, point at somebody and go, I own you, baby. No, I own you. No, I own you. All right, let's clap, and then on 3, we do it. 1, come on. 1, 2, 3, go. Wake it up. There you are, Liz. There's some energy. Devin. Jewis. Oh, yes. Get a virtual high five, or if they're with you, high five and say, you rock, baby. So do I. And grab a seat feeling strong now. And don't let the energy drop when you sit down. There you go. 10 seconds in your chair. Keep the energy going in your chair. Come on, here we go. 1. So now, in a higher energy state, let's talk about something that usually takes your energy down, and that is loss. How many of you felt some sense of loss in the last 3 years? Loss of freedom, loss of money, loss of business, loss of family? Who's gone through loss? So there's a pattern that we go through when we have a loss. You've probably heard of it. Most people call it the 5 stages of grief, and they're predictable. The first pattern is if you get some major loss, the first is shock, and you don't even believe it's possible, right? You just don't even believe it. It's denial. It's a shock, and you're like, no. Who knows what I'm talking about? Who's had this experience, right? Somebody died, you got fired, your company, went through something, whatever. And we just don't want to experience it. It's just too abrupt. But then go ahead, put the second stage on there. What happens? Well, after that, then we tend to get angry, or at least frustrated, or some anxiety. But usually there's an anger there, like this shouldn't have happened. And by the way, people get stuck, don't they? Some people get stuck in shock, some people get stuck in anger. And after you experience enough anger, your nervous system is exhausted, so it goes to a different place, and it's a lower energy. It's sadness or loss or the feeling of depression. In the denial phase, you don't want to experience the loss. In the anger phase, you're still fighting it. You get in that sadness loss phase, boy, it's pretty low. And some people get stuck there. They stay depressed. They stay sad. They stay lost. In fact, most people, we'll talk about this in a couple of days. We'll show you the stats, but people go and get traditional therapy and get drugs. And some of those drugs that people take, says right on the side, creates suicidal thoughts. It makes it worse. It's crazy. So, and yet, I was the cover of Newsweek only, I think, a month ago. They did these meta-studies and showed these SSRIs. They don't work, but they're still giving them to people because they don't have a better alternative. So we'll talk about that tomorrow and show you the alternatives. If you make it through the loss and depression, the way you get through there is you go to that 4th stage where you start to kind of bargain. Okay, God, if you'll let me do this, I'll do that. Or if I'll make this happen, you bargain with yourself, you bargain with God, you bargain with the universe. But eventually, if you're going to get to a place of at least balance, you get to a place of acceptance where you don't like it, but it's like, God grant me the serenity to know the things I can change, things I can't, the courage to know the difference, take those actions. Some of you know that serenity prayer. There's an acceptance. And boy, if you're an achiever, acceptance is not usually something most of you want to go for, right? I don't want to accept this the way it is. But you do have to accept something to complete it so you can let it go. But most people get stuck in anger or sadness or maybe acceptance. And I don't think that should be. I believe there's a 6th stage that takes you out of grief, and that is creation. Creation. The way you get the life back and make it better in spite of all that's going on is you create. You create something new. You create a new business, new relationship, a new opportunity, something that comes, I believe, out of humongous, horrific pain. Good must come. Out of injustice, good must come. And not by demanding, but by creating something that creates something good. Who's up for this? Who likes this idea here, ladies and gentlemen?